Hello, hello. I am Pretty Bird. And Sweetie is muted. So together we are Pretty Sweet. Welcome to Pretty Sweet Distractions, where we speak unfiltered about life, love, poetry, and prowess. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the distractions in the form of open discussions on artful words. We do have a few little rules. We are grown-up people talking about grown-up things using all the grown-up words. So if you're easily offended, this may not be your bouncing tea bag, cup of tea, or whatever floats your boat. We like to have fun, poke fun, and generally have a great time. So if you're down to be distracted, come hang out, chat, call, like, follow, share, leave your opinions and our opinions, click all the hearts, and show us some love. We have live streamed excuse me, every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can listen to us live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just type in Pretty Sweet, P-R-T-T-Y, Sweet, all one word. Click on the red shoes, and there you shall find us along with all of our previous live streams. Okay, so tonight it is Everybody Needs a Shrink. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. And since crazy is subjective, we really all have our moments. So whether we are misconstrued or pushed to the edge of sanity, we've all been off our game at some point. In a world where we can still feel invisible, surrounded by people, we could all use someone to talk to. And these days, there's an app for that. Crazy or not, sometimes everybody needs a shrink. And being that I'm old, I grew up in a time where seeing a shrink or being labeled as anything, it was just unfortunate. It was very much frowned upon. It was very much a stigma. It was very much not my kid. All of the nonsense that kind of made you feel defective in some kind of a way that you weren't fit for society because they would hide all of the diagnoses or the therapy away in a corner. I am so glad that, fast forward to now, and there's literally apps, there's BetterHelp, there's all this other stuff. I am not, here or there on either one. And listen, if you find one that works for you, you find one that works for you. Give me 1 second to get back to what I'm going to say. Sky, my dear, you seem to be having issues because there's 3 of you open, but you're only one person.
I know, I don't know what's happening.
So I don't know which one you are. Oh, I see you. Okay, I'm gonna just try to close this. I don't even know if it'll let me close these. Let me just
Listen, didn't we just talk about when I fuck things up? It's a lot.
Oh my goodness.
Sky.
Okay, so I just kind of hit all the rest of them. I'm going to try to keep you down to one because, since we're talking about shrinks, I'm not opposed to a little DID. I'm just saying. And but here's the thing. On a general people are social beings level, everybody needs somebody to talk to. And it is human nature to judge the shit out of everyone. It sucks, but it's true. Tell me you don't. Tell me you haven't, even if you keep it to yourself, you know? And so if as individuals we are going through something that we're trying to unpack, that we're trying to understand, that we're trying not to react to, or that we have reacted and we feel bad about, or we're just contemplating why we feel stuck, whatever the case may be, because it's all the things, right? It's hard to have a support system in place that also does not hold judgment, because I love all my people and I take them as they are. I do. I did not always, because I am human. And sometimes it takes pain and wisdom to learn how to meet people where they need you to be. And even recently, I had a family member who was going through some stuff and just needed to let it all out there. And she didn't tell me that. She just needed to let it all out there. And I'm like, all right, so what are we doing? And I'm running off all the things that to make things easier. And she's like, you're giving me anxiety. I'm like, okay, listen. Okay, once that was all over and we were back to a normal conversation, I was like, you need to tell me before you start telling me all the things what you expect from me, because I can't read your mind. So if you need me to be an ear, I am there. If you need me to help you suss something out, I am there. You tell me exactly what you need when you're going through it, because if it's outside of the realm of a normal conversation, like back and forth, knowing how I am, because I'm very much, I will help you do all the things. If that's going to be overwhelming, just let me know beforehand. I will be exactly what you need me to be in that moment. And then when you gather your thoughts, if at that point you want help, I am still here to be that for you too. I have no problem with that. But it's a lot to do that for everybody and every conversation when everybody's going through their own emotional journey. It's a little, um it is a little uh, difficult to kind of sustain all that with all of the people. Having said that, um a shrink is literally paid to withhold judgment. They will sit there, they will listen to you, they will, you know, let you go through what you need to go through. They're not going to judge you for being an asshole. They're not going to judge you for being vindictive. They're not going to judge you for being petty. They're not going to judge you for being a pushover, a doormat, a people pleaser, whatever it is you think you are. They are not, regardless of if there's an actual diagnosis. Everybody needs somebody to talk to, and we all need a safe place to do that, where it's not anybody's business, where you're free to feel how you feel. Because I tell you what, I vent because a girlie's got anxiety and a lot of feelings, I'm just saying. And I'm the kind that needs to process out loud. So I will sit there and talk all the shit. I mean, it's true shit. It's frustrating shit. I will talk all the shit, take a deep breath, and be like, whoo, all right, now I can deal with the shit. But I can't vent to everybody I know, or everybody I love, or everybody who claims to love me. It doesn't work that way, because otherwise I'm just gonna be the bitch who bitches, and I'd rather just be, the snotty bitch for other reasons than because I bitch so much. And and that's just frustration. So we could all benefit from um an ear, from that kind of non-judgmental, safe place to exist. If we can find it in somebody, that's great. But here's the thing. Not everybody we love, especially in a close friendship, in your immediate family, in a romantic relationship. Listen, we are all sensitive. Even the ones that we think aren't sensitive, they will hold on to that stuff. I don't care if they're going to go and punch it out in a punching bag because they can't put words to their feelings. There's everybody has certain sensitivities, and not everybody knows how to discuss them, and not everybody wants to discuss them, because even in this day and age, people are like, emotions make you weak. And I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Because here's the thing, emotions are irrational. They don't often make sense. They don't follow any direct logic. Sometimes our reactions surprise ourselves. Sometimes we do things in the name of love that go against who we thought we were. And we need to unpack that, and not blame the people, and it's really really hard to not be like, listen, I said I would never ABCDEFG, look what you made me do. It is not their fucking fault. You chose to do it. That was a decision you made. And it's a hard thing to want to reconcile within yourself, because when we do it to ourselves without that kind of outside, without the gaslighting, without any toxicity, when it's a choice we make cleanly, we still have to reevaluate who we thought we were. And then we can't trust ourselves. And anything that makes us not trust ourselves, especially when it's on our own shoulders without outside influence, really makes us not trust any decision we make, because apparently I'm the idiot, because I swore from the time I could fathom a relationship that I would never in a million years take anybody back. Well, you know what? Love says otherwise, you know? Because sometimes shit fucking happens. And you are now trying to discern the parameters of what that is. And they're softer than we feel. But it's not easy to reconcile these things. And that's all internal. So you can't you can't go to your mom for everything. And if you can, what happens when she passes? And I don't mean to say that in any kind of morbidity, any kind of whatever. I lost my mom, and not that I can talk to her about everything because she's petty. I'm just saying. And I mean, I got her
Mom
from
petty.
somewhere. And so when you don't have a place to put it, and you don't have somebody to, bounce ideas off of when it comes to things, whether it's things about your future or wanting to figure out why you made decisions in the past. Listen, the human psyche is crazy. Not that we are crazy as individuals, because quite frankly, I don't know if I'm crazy. I don't believe that there's a normal. I think everybody has their own normal, and that we should only be defined or
Normal.
described within the parameters of what is our regular personality, not what other people think we should be. Because not for nothing,
Normal.
they could all kiss my butt. I am just saying. So
Normal's a
people,
setting on the washing machine.
or something. And so people like to um, judge outside of their own cliques. Now, if we go all the way back to high school, part of the formative years of bullshit, where you've got, the athletes, and you've got the band geeks, that was me, and you've got the uber nerds, and you've got just your general honors classes that are split amongst all the other factions, so that's where the overlap is. And not for nothing, I did not dress like all of my friends when I was in high school. It was the 80s, and I used to summer in freaking Brooklyn, and Brooklyn does not Florida. I am just saying. So they had fashion 6 months before the fashion came here. So me and my sister would start school all freaking fly, and we'd get to school, and they're still, in their weird pop collar preppy nonsense. And I'm just like, all right. So I was kind of weird, not fully weird, not red hairspray and flock of seagulls hair and whatnot. I'm not old, shut up. And I wasn't like that. And not that I thought that that was weird. I just couldn't pull it
Mm.
off. I am too lazy for that kind of hair. I am just saying. And so I did not I fit in with my friends regardless of what faction they were, because I didn't judge people by that, but people judged me by that. So I was friends with people that were smart, and people that were athletes, and other people that were in band, and other people that were in other things, and drama, and all the things, right? And so I knew people everywhere. I was not popular. I just knew a lot of people. And the thing is that every class has mean girls. And I say every class, but let's face it, mean girls overlap and train the years beneath them. So there's just a never ending populace of mean girls. And so there was this one football player. Oh, he was so cute. Anyway, he would turn red and just turn and do an about face whenever I would walk up to his group of people, because I was friends with all of them, but I was friends with this one of them in particular who had a crush on me, but I didn't have a crush on him. Funny, very, very nice guy. But I would find reasons to ask him questions, to go and say hi to the one who blushed. But I thought he hated my guts because he was friends with the girls who hated my guts. And they were just mean and nasty. And I was like, I swear I never did anything to these people. And I was like, I don't care. You're not worth my time. Because even at 15 years old, I knew that they weren't worth my time. Come to find out, 10 years ago, long after high school, that he was all like, and why do you think I blushed every time you looked at me? I'm like, I don't know. So who'd have thunk? But here's the thing. Your mind doesn't take you to places that other people build walls for. And then you have to go through society and your family and your work and all these places where people are judging you. And then you avoid certain things or certain groups or certain whatever because you don't feel like dealing with that shit today, because it takes a lot out of you, especially if you're an introverted person. Having said all of that, how are we as social beings meant to then absorb everything every day with no place to put it? Because if you ask me, that's a surefire way to really not like yourself over time, because we
Mm.
can embrace the things that make us different. At the same time, we are lamenting why we have no friends. We can love the parts about us that make us unique while hating those same things because they're what make people make fun of us, and all of these
Mm.
things. And it's really hard to reconcile if you don't have a way to do that, if you were never taught any kind of mechanisms to process that out. It is hard, and it builds up, day after day, year after year. And then when you have kids and you don't want them to go through whatever, and you're trying to process their self-esteem when you still haven't built up your self-esteem, it's a hot mess. We are all of us. I don't care who thinks they have their shit together. The ones that
Mm.
believe that they have all their shit together are probably narcissistic. I am just saying. I don't mean narcissistic personality or the disorder where you're a full asshole, but the type of narcissism that they fail to see why everybody doesn't love them, or they fail to see why it's a problem if they ask somebody for something, even if they don't know them that well, because they were raised to be the little center of their own universe, and that's just what they know is normal. Not that they are intentional assholes, like, like that. But narcissism takes many forms. I am just saying. So, and just as a disclaimer, ain't nobody here a shrink. It is what it is. Take it for whatever you take it for.
Mm.
So, in my opinion, everybody needs a shrink. Everybody needs a fucking shrink. Everybody needs a safe place to let it out. Everybody needs a place where they can cry without being judged, where they can scream without being judged, where they can sit there, call everybody an asshole, and then get to the part where, oh, well, since everybody else is an asshole and I'm the only common denominator, maybe I'm the asshole. But you need place to be able to suss that out for yourself. And sometimes we cannot find it with the people that we love. And not for nothing, oftentimes we don't want to be all of our broken for the people that we love, especially if we're trying to be there for them as well. Because a lot of us think that if we're trying to fix our broken, we cannot help somebody else with their broken. And not for nothing, they're not mutually exclusive. Sometimes they don't play well together, but being a safe place for somebody doesn't mean they can't also be a safe place for you. But it is a lot to expect one person to be a safe place for
Mm.
everything you're going through if you have nothing to offer them in return. So you kind of add at least a little bit need to also be an emotional safe space. You can't cry at them and then when they cry, be like, listen, you wuss, I don't want to hear your shit, because that makes you the asshole and that is not okay. So in order to not put those weird stressors on relationship, I think that generally speaking, everybody needs that neutral place to talk to. And it doesn't have to be 3 times a week or once a week. It could be once a month or as needed. There is no set regimen for any kind of therapy. Sometimes it's, I mean, you can book it out and go when you think you need it. If you know that you're going to be stressed out, once a month or during whatever season, you can book it that way. It doesn't need to be, if you are non-medicated, it doesn't need to
Mm.
be regimented in any kind of way that falls outside the parameters of what you're comfortable with. I am just saying. So I also think that we're all crazy and we all do stupid shit, and that's just part of existing, and we should also give ourselves some grace. So, Sweet Pea, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you're up for talking, because I know that you're having a time, but what are your thoughts on everybody needs to shrink?
I can't talk right now.
All right then. So Rack, that puts it on you.
I mean, I like you said, sanity is subjective. What one person thinks is crazy, another person will be like, think nothing about doing it every day of their life. It's amazing to watch sometimes, and I think the beauty of that is that as long as they understand why they're doing it, and then, well, I guess they have to not be afraid of being judged too. On top of that makes it better, but that's not always the case. But it's just I don't know. It makes interacting interesting to me because you know I've always been of the mind that if I can understand what's going on, I don't have to agree with it as long as I kind of understand it. I get it. I understand the mindset, so I'm good with it. And for me, that's enough. People are gonna go, why did they do that? Well, do you really want to know? Because I can kind of tell you, and that's what makes it interesting to me. It's that thought process that they go through to get to that point that I find so very interesting. And again, not everyone's going to take the same path or see it the same way, and the potpourri of life. So it's how many times am I going
Said
to say interesting
potpourri, and
tonight?
I heard poopery. Because I mean, seriously, you spray that water and the shit stink doesn't leave the toilet, and that's kind of everybody needs a little when they start talking. I am just saying because negativity spreads faster than joy, and it's sad that it works that way. But
Talking shit was the other week.
you're absolutely right about people can say what they say, and you can understand where they're coming from without agreeing to their ideology, without sitting there and understanding why they did what they did, knowing that that makes zero sense to you and your life and your way of thinking or whatever. The issue isn't the understanding, it's the judging. It's the, well, I get where you're
Uh,
coming from. Okay, let's just take a work setting that has nothing really to do with mental health. If you're in a group, well, if I'm in a group, okay, I can only talk for me. I don't know what the hell you do in a group. I will sit there, and when we start bullet pointing things, I'll write
circle
all the stuff
jerk.
down. I know we will start writing all the things down, and I will listen to their choices, and I can very easily discern who's the idiot, who thinks they're going to run things, who's got stupid fucking ideas, and then I have to go back in there and fix everything. And I do. And I don't mean to. It is not my goal. My goal is to write the things down, be and ask questions if I don't understand something, which is rare, or for clarification. But what happens more often than not is that, Mr. Big Nuts over here wants to be like, no, you're doing this and you're doing this and you're doing this. And this person's over here going, that's going to fucking fail because it's structurally unsound and maybe do some math. And I'm over here going, all right, listen, both y'all are idiots. But how it comes out is I understand what you are saying, but you have to also take into consideration that engineering is this guy's forte. So maybe we need to listen to him on a better way or alternative ways to structure whatever it is. If like you're doing that bridge building bullshit with newspapers, all of that stuff. And you know, it's really difficult when people think that they're going to be fast and right. And when everybody thinks that they're right, it's slow and then everything ends up wrong because you can't really take an even amount of stuff from everybody's ideas to have some universal whatever. Life doesn't work that way. So I'm fine being the asshole. I've never been to work to make friends. Do I make friends? Yes. Is that my goal? No. I would sit there. To me, work and friendship is very, very different. I can sit there and call you out for stupid shit you do at work and very real, very, very matter of fact ways, and still go have a drink with you later and not think any less of you or any differently of you or whatever. Most people can't do that in my experience. So I'll sit there and be like, no, have you considered? And then all of the things. What I heard was all of the things. The question I have is, and then all the questions. And then they look at me like, this is going to take 3 times as long. Yeah, but it's not going to fail. It's going to be sound and it's going to be right. Because now I have input from everybody. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong, and I will listen to you. And nobody wants to hear that. And so here's the thing. We judge everybody by what we think we do, by what we think they should do, by who we believe them to be. And who the hell are we to judge fucking anybody?
Yeah.
Because there is not a single one of us that is beyond reproach. Not a single one of us. And most of us don't claim our shortcomings. We don't claim our faults. We don't sit there and point them out. I mean, I do because I mean, zero shits. I'm just saying, but it took me a long time to get here. And it's a lot easier for somebody to be like, listen, do you think maybe you can like keep it down a little bit because you're a little bit loud? It's a lot easier to be like, says who? And who are you to tell me what to do? And at least I have something to say, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah, because people's egos get bruised when somebody tells them they're doing something offensive or wrong or whatever. There's really only fuck you and I'm sorry. There isn't a whole lot of in between. There really just isn't in that moment. That comes a little bit later in the process of thought, whether it's a few minutes or whatnot. But that initial thing is usually your anus clenches and you're either, well, that, you form the thought of, oh, I am wrong, or oh, you're a bitch. There isn't a lot of middle ground there. There really just freaking isn't. And it's in my experience, it's sad because we pick the path of least resistance, or for the most part. If there is somebody with a big personality and there's somebody who might be more knowledgeable but doesn't speak outright, from the beginning, it's easy to kind of roll over them, even if it's not intentional. But if we don't stop and ask questions, make sure everybody's seen in whatever it is that we're doing as best we can, because sometimes if things are moving fast, no, it's not my fault that you're way the fuck back there. I can't hold your hand. I have my own shit to worry about because we're all grown. But when time permits and it's not going to take anything away from everything, it's much better to kind of at least ask. Everybody good? All right, let's move on to the next thing, because then you give them the opportunity. If nobody speaks up and something goes wrong, well, if you knew that, that's on you. It's crazy the way we don't know how to talk to people. It's crazy the way we sit there and if I choose to cut all of my hair off, everybody has an opinion. Because I've had long curly hair my whole life. I want short hair. I live in the land of swamp ass. And I have no
Okay,
problem.
Sinead.
I have no problem cutting it off. But if I cut it off, my entire family, all of my friends, everybody's going to have an opinion. They're going to look at me like whatever. They're going to be whatever. They're going to call me, you look like whatever, yada, 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 blah, 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 all the freaking things. And it's just not worth it. And it
Sinead
sucks.
O'Connor.
It sucks that other people will sit there and make somebody feel bad enough to not do what they want, because the hassle just is not worth it. It really isn't. And what I find interesting on that same vein, my hair was all the way down to my waist. I cut 10 inches off. And 10 inches on curly hair will shrink to about 18, because with the less weight, it gets even more curly and fluffy. So it went from curly at my um, waist to just above my bra strap, even though it was literally just 10 inches when wet, right? And nobody noticed for 3 weeks, and when they noticed, they got so fucking pissed. I was like, "You don't have the right to be mad at me, you didn't even notice, so you can kiss my ass." Because and to me, that was a big difference in how it looked, because it was stark to me, because I mean, it
Yeah.
went right up my back, and they didn't even fucking notice, and I'm just like, "You can't tell me what to do," and I never asked again, so I will trim my hair, I will cut my hair, I will layer my hair, I will do all of that without really taking off the length, but, I really I don't want to hate the people I love for giving me shit about something they have no control over, and so as of now, I just don't do it. But the fact that it is this thing, this exterior thing that affects me, bothers me, and it will always bother me, even if it's ultimately my choice. And we have to do that with basically everything that we do for ourselves, for others, how we parent, how we choose to heal mentally. I tend to self-isolate. People hate it because it's selfish. I hate it because it's selfish, but I need to do it every now and then, because my go-to is to ask other people what they need, help them through what they're going through, and then I'm
Yeah.
stuck by myself with nobody to help me, and I can't then be all like, "I know you're talking about you, but I wanna talk about me because I feel like that's shitty," and so I don't go there. I will sit there, head fully up my ass, go through what I am going through until I can breathe again, and then I am there for everybody else, and even when I'm in that mode, if somebody needs me, I will be there for them. I just don't know how to be there for myself or let other people be there for me. And I think a lot of that is our experiences when we're going through all these things, from as we're children and growing into adulthood, that taught us that we're not important, that taught us that other people's drama in the family is takes precedence over our own drama, and so we don't do that because it feels like shit. And by the time we get to a point where what we're going through is actually, um, you know, that deep, we no longer feel safe trying to share it with the people who claim to love us because we were taught that those people that claim to love us don't find our feelings important, even if they think they did nothing wrong. Because if I'm 6 years old and I'm crying because I broke the leg off my doll, or my brother broke the leg off my doll, and they're like, yeah, whatever. I need to take your sister to the doctor and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then the doll never gets fixed. They never ask about the doll. And then they're like 6 months later, they're like, what happened to your doll? I'm like, well, she's over there with a broken leg. Well, why didn't you just fix it? Because I'm fucking 6. That's why. And they'll pop it in 2 seconds, and the thing is, when you realize that you were in pain for that long without having your little whoopee doll or whatever it is, and they pop that little socket, that thing back in the socket, and it took them no time to fix it, and you weren't important enough to spend that 2 seconds on, it changes how you feel about your own feelings. And when you're that young, you don't know how to verbalize that. You don't know what it is. You know it feels bad, but you don't know why. And as you grow into understanding your feelings, then, you know, it's I think I'm the only person that I know that has traced all of my reactions. And I'm like, well, why do I do that? Back to their origins. I can tell you exactly which triggers come from what point in my childhood because I spent a lot of time overthinking shits. And I've got my degree in psychology, not that you can tell from this conversation. I and It literally helped me understand why I am the way I am. It also helped me understand that there are things about me that other people wish I would change that I will never change because I don't want to. The people are often ask me, "Well, why are you like that?" I mean, for many different things. And I like how I am, so I don't get offended by that. But I am honest and I ask all the questions and I need to know all the things. And most people don't. And most people don't like being put on the spot, being asked things like that because they don't usually have an answer because I ask things out of the blue. I'm not trying to test anybody. I want to understand what you're going through. I want to understand what your perception of what I'm going through. I want to understand the situation to make sure we're on the same page. And it's tedious, and not everybody wants to put up with my shit. I'm very polarizing. People either love me or hate me. And I'm okay with that because I would rather be how I am so that I am sure that the people that I care about are and I understand things similarly because so many people, they just assume that I think like they do or that I'm going to react a certain way, and they are almost always not quite right. Then I'm the asshole because they thought I was something different than I was. I don't know. People are weird. People really want you to be who they pretend you are instead of allowing you to be who you actually are. It's crazy. So, Sky, you're back. I am thrilled. Let's hope that it lasts more than 2 seconds. So, my question for you is what are your thoughts on everybody needs a shrink?
It won't let me unmute.
There you are. So, what are your thoughts, sweetheart? Well, you were unmuted and now you're muted. I cannot unmute you.
Oh my god,
Oh, I
I'm
think
so
you're unmuted.
frustrated.
There you are. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, so I think what happens on the phone is whenever the screen goes off, it resets.
Whatever what?
Whenever the screen times out, it wants to reset.
Oh, so do I just change my screen timer or something?
If you can. Otherwise, I just kind of rub my finger back and forth on this part of the screen that doesn't show anything, and we're good. It's really freaking annoying. But see if that works. It may not, because sometimes
Okay.
it does some weird shit. But your thoughts on everybody needs to shrink?
Um, I think everybody needs to shrink. I've never been good about going to counseling or therapy, but I feel like I would benefit from it. But I'm a pretty good shrink to myself sometimes. I think it would be more beneficial if someone else was doing it. But I'm definitely like you. I mean, maybe not as good as you, but I definitely go through like, okay, what is happening? Why am I like this? And I often do that with other people too. I kind of be like,
Mm.
okay, and when they talk to me, I can kind of like see where their behavior came from, behavior analyst, But I think it's good to be aware, explore, and learn, and progress. I mean, I think therapy is good, even though I've never been there. Just,
Me too. I have a question for you about
I
what you just
actually
said
did. It
because
was really funny. I Sorry.
no, you're fine. I think that there's a lag. Okay, continue.
Oh, did when in my early 20s. I volunteered for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I don't know if you guys have that down there, but it's just like an outreach program for young kids,
Hmm.
that need help, and they need so just go pick them up, and you hang out with them and you be like their big brother and a role model, whatever. So I was volunteering, so I went to go volunteer, and to do that, you have to go through this process, and you have to do interviews and background checks and things like that. And so I was in my interview, and they were like, "Okay, so tell me this, tell me that," and I told them a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and they're like, what do you have that you would be able to connect and da da da," and the person literally looked at me and they were like, and I briefly, I didn't like go into like my deep, I just briefly gave them an overview of, kind of like what my, experience was briefly, and they looked at me like, and they were like, "And you've never been in therapy?" I was like, no. No, no, I did go. They did give me the green go. I did volunteer for a while, but yeah, that was fun.
You see, judgment. I am just saying, everybody does it.
So
So you had said
that was it.
something. You said that when you talk to somebody and they're going through something, that you can kind of see where that stemmed from, and once you. So my question is, once you realize why they are triggered by certain things or why they respond a certain way, does your empathy then make you smaller because you understand where they're coming from? Therefore, you put up with a lot more shit the more you care about them?
Yeah, I tend to be like, you know, I've always been told I was a good mediator, and I think that's why, because I'm like, but also, like, I can understand, like, that can be really annoying sometimes. So if someone's just yelling at me, I don't try to mediate. Like, not yelling at me, but if they're like yelling to me, and that's because I have someone in my life who does that, and it drives me nuts. So, and then I realize I'm kind of like that, so I try not to do that. But like if somebody's coming up to me, I'd be like, "Well, this is have you ever thought maybe they thought this, or this, or they're coming from this perspective?" But I've learned through experience for myself how angry that makes me when someone does it to me. I've learned that sometimes people just want to be angry, and that's their moment, and you got to let them be angry. And then if they're looking for suggestions or mediation, then you help, because otherwise it's not your time. It's their moment. And I only learned that because I hate it so much. Someone does it to
I am
me.
right there with you. And I find it extremely offensive that you think I can't handle my shit when you're offering help that I didn't ask you for, you know?
So I'm a lot like that. I think Rack can verify that. I'm like, not now, not now. I'm like, I'm like, wait for a couple days, and then we until I'm not mad anymore, and then you can tell me your suggestions. I don't want to hear it now. I just want to be angry, and I'm not like,
I keep on
I'm
I
not.
keep on telling people
So yeah,
um that the quickest way to not put your foot in your mouth with some emotions that are not, telling you off. Like if they come in and they're like, this person at work or my family, this or whatever it is to ask, are you looking for solutions or are you looking for a shoulder? Because I know so many people that want to fix the situation or want to try to fix or want to give you. I didn't ask you for that. I can handle my shit. I need to get it off of my chest. You know what I mean? Where
not help.
yeah, that where it's when okay, so here's the thing. I often will talk out of my ass if I'm frustrated. I'm like, yada yada yada. No, why don't you just say, oh, shut up. It's I understand that I've got a slew of possible solutions to this problem. I understand them all. But right now I'm feeling my feelings and I need to feel my feelings without anybody judging me about my feelings because my feelings are valid. I need to let go of them a little bit. Um but before I can make room for those solutions. Okay, I'm gonna put that out there, Sky, because that's cracking me up. She says, "Caressing my phone did not help," and it's cracking me up. But you were with us for a good long while, so it might have helped a little bit,
Yeah,
you know. And we've got Circus on here saying I should probably be in therapy, but and then unfortunate things. And here's the thing: I believe that we all need somebody to talk to. And he's right. He's like, I fit in with the general populace. Yeah, we're a bunch of miserable fucks. We all are. All of us have our moments of not being fit for society. I mean, listen, I just took a few days of not talking to anybody because I could not brain at all. Whatever my situation is, um, it's at times overwhelming, and I think we could all relate to that. And when I am overwhelmed in things that I can't yet process out, I don't invite people into that because I don't want to burden people. And I get that I am not a burden to the people that love me, and cuz and I don't feel like I would rather them tell me they will never burden me with their things. I'm happy to be there. It's just I don't have that reference point of people being there for me in that way in any consistent fashion, not from the time I was a little girl, like I was talking about earlier. It does not, when you grow up emotionally unsafe that way with no soft place to land as an adult, regardless of if you know better, if you can, you tend to not want to burden people, or you tell everybody your shit all the fucking time, then you have no friends because nobody wants to hear your shit all the fucking time. And I don't want to be that person. So I tend to. Okay, so the unfortunate truth of this matter is I will hold it in, I will process, I will do whatever. And then when I have a minute to breathe, the next person that to ask me, I will tell them everything all at once. And then they don't want to talk to me for 3 months. It's fine. It's because it's overwhelming, because it's never something small. You know what I mean? It's always big things that I keep to myself. Little things don't bother me. It takes a lot to get me up my ass. And and it sucks. And I feel bad, and I need to do better at giving people proof of life because I tend to seriously just disappear. Not that I disappear. Everybody knows where the fuck I am. It's just I don't, you know,
Respond.
yeah, or well, it's not that I don't respond. I don't look at my phone, or I forget that the ringer is off, or I'm so busy numbing my brain on the stupid Arrow game that does not have pop-up notification, so I don't know what the vibration is. Then I forget that it vibrated. I've been doing this for 15 hours because the only thing that keeps me from sliding down the rabbit hole of pain in my brain. And because we all need a thing, we all need some kind of an outlet, we all need whatever. And I have a lot of uh, drug allergies. And so I don't take pills if I can help it, unless I have to. And so I tend to suffer alone. And then people are just like, well, why don't you do this? And why don't you, sweetie, I can't move today. Okay. I'm like, I know I sound like this, and I'm smiling at you and I'm helping you with all your things, but I have this ongoing algorithm of daily motility that people don't really clock because I sound like this, and I smile and I help them with all the things, and I'm eager to do this stuff, and I look normal and I sound normal, and but my normal is unfortunate sometimes, and I don't need to go into detail with everybody about all the stuff every day. And when I have to, and oh, this is unfortunate. I lost my shit. I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago, probably put me in the spiral that kept me up my ass. Um, I was asked to do something that was seemingly simple, and I was just like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was just like, "You don't see a problem with that?" And they're like, "What?" And I was just like, "Okay." And when was the last time I was able to do that without a problem? Oh, here's a solution. That's not a fucking solution because I can't do the thing. And so I'm sitting there. I lost my shit. I was like, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I literally was like, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and this doesn't work, and I haven't taken this, and I haven't taken this because they don't work, and they make me feel bad because I don't like feeling altered. I know I'm odd, whatever. And once my magic cream stops working, I um I have nothing left to take the edge off of certain nerve pain. And so we're not going to use it till it no longer works because my allergist is like, listen, with your allergies, the quickest way for you to become allergic to whatever is to keep on taking it. So I sparse that shit out. So here's the thing. Maybe don't think I am who I was 20 years ago because that person no longer exists on any level. And maybe keep in mind that if I look like I'm doing nothing, it's probably because it's all I can do at the moment. And I don't need anybody to feel bad or whatever it is. I mean, everybody has their own daily struggles, and it sucks all the time for people on different levels. I don't need sympathy. But when it's people that know you and the expectation is that you're going to be able to do things that you haven't been able to do for 20 fucking years, maybe don't do that. It does not feel good. And then I feel like the asshole because they really didn't do anything except um they really didn't do anything except think you can do more than you could because you look normal, you know? And maybe that's on me because I don't complain all the time, because I don't sit there and look broken all the time, because I don't remind people of my shortcomings all the time. Maybe that's my fault for looking normal or acting normal or whatever. But people judge, even the ones that think that they don't. They do. They have different expectations. So there's all of that. So Sweet Pea, are you able to talk yet? You're still muted, so I'm guessing no.
My little oxygen sensor thing is going to beep in the background, so it's kind of a pain in the ass right now. I'm working on it.
All right, sweetheart. Do you want me to start with your poem so that if you need to go, you can go?
Yeah, that's fine if you don't mind the crazy beeping in the back.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. I mean, are you up to it now, or do you want to wait a minute?
No, I can do it.
All right, I'll do that. I had mine up, but I'll put yours up.
Okay.
Okay, and we have Sky for a little bit longer, which I am loving that you stopped by. Love
Okay.
it. All right. It is on the board. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. I gotta get back to us in your poem. So sorry. Oh my
Can
goodness.
you click the link in the room,
Um,
or does that not click through?
no, I'm
I guess it doesn't. All right.
of all poetry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Um, okay. So there we go. This is called Shrink. Is it the stench of sweaty old men or the rotten crotches of the women they pay that brought you back to my house to explore the dark mind games? Bring me the lunatics, the absurd, the difficult IQs that wreck the inside of brains. Play in the madness, let loose all the sadness, whisper in my ear all the things you hold dear. Take an axe to the head, let's talk in room X. Use the rubber smash coat, it is quite a. Knowing all the secrets of the weird and the insane makes me a puppet master, and with their brain matter I play. And poem.
You know, I didn't know where this is going. You're talking about rotten crotches, but and here's the thing. A lot of human interaction, a lot of relational interaction, relationship, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, is a lot of manipulation of mind games, because almost every conversation we have, that if we're asking somebody to do something, we implore them, we you know are kind or a little flirty or whatever it is, to make people want to do what we ask them to do when there's really no reason for them to do it. So to me, a lot of normal everyday conversations hold some minor level of manipulation. But when it comes through to the stench of sweaty old men, and the people that the women that they pay to do the thing, and then they're all, you know coming back, and you know this with the second couplet that brought you back to my house to explore your darkest mind games. And here's the thing: when it comes to deception and what we can get away with, when it comes to how we can uh control the reactions of the people that love us, by kind of playing the symphony that is their emotional repertoire, I mean, it makes them the asshole. But at what point then do you flip to the rest of this? At what point do you have enough of that to bring me the absurd? Let's play in all those emotions. And here's the thing, because I learned from the best, and now I am going to carve your brain matter into little pieces, and you're not going to know what happened to you. And I kind of love the concept of that, because to me it's very uh tit for tat. It's very, well, you started the shit, I'm gonna finish it, because I'm a little old school that way, and it's fine. And I kind of like the concept of that, but the emotional route to get there is excruciating, and it's time consuming. This is not a, oh, fuck me, fuck you, out of anger that takes 2 seconds. This is, you try to see the best in people. It's you've got this all of this room in your vessel of emotions to sit there and understand and take and onto yourself all of these things. But when it gets full, you're like, all right, you want the overflow? You're going to get it from the bottom, where it's been sitting there festering and rotten, and this is the best you're going to get. Sucks to be you. And I could absolutely see that. And there's a certain amount of strength in that, but there's so much pain in that, especially when it makes us or turns us into somebody we never wanted to be. And to me, therein lies the issue, is how do we reconcile what we were forced to become in pain against who we thought we were, against who we wanted to be. It is a lot. I'm just saying. So, Raconteur, your thoughts.
And this is pure survival to me. Especially, in the back of my mind, you're a dog trainer, so behavior, you learn things, triggers, you learn the rewards and how to get what you want, without actually, saying this is what I want. You train it to become a reflex, and then, you don't even have to think about it anymore. It reminds me, that the people in your life that and the situations that you're in, you don't even realize you do it sometimes. You just kind of trip over it. It's like, I want to I want to talk to mommy. If every time I act out, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna put your mother on the phone. Is that what you want? It's a manipulation thing that you don't even necessarily realize that that's what you're doing. For me, the idea of it also, it speaks of survival, because when you're growing up, and you've got brothers and sisters and other things, and only one toy or whatever, and you want to use it or whatever. The only way for that to happen is to, unfortunately, kind of figure out how to make it happen, and execute it. This speaks to me of that kind of experience, where you're dealing with people, and you're learning exactly what it is that gets what you want from them, that pulls the trigger from them, that um, makes it wind up in your favor, because that's what you need to do to survive. It's not even um, an intentional malicious thing. It's if I'm gonna live, that this is what needs to be done. So it almost becomes second nature, I feel, because um, I don't know. It's just how you deal with life, I think, and relationships and situations. It's a thing. I don't know.
That it
I don't
is.
know. Yeah,
So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts. So, did you? I know that you've been in and out. Were you able to hear it or read it?
it was hers.
Did I say Sweet Pea? I meant Sky. Oh, she's going in and out. All right, you there, Sky?
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is very difficult to follow the conversation and to the poem. So please, I'm going to do my best. Please forgive me, because it is very difficult to follow the
Well, that's
conversation
because
right
it
now.
keeps on kicking you out.
I am trying. So I'm going to do my best here. So I'm kind of piecing together all the bits of conversation. I'm just going to say that often, and I'm just going to give my opinion on the whole of the conversation. I'm sorry, Sweet Pea, if it's not specific enough. I am trying my best. I think a lot of people that have a background in trauma, or in who grew up in environments where they had to be very watchful and very mindful of other people.
Oh, did we lose her?
Yeah, mid
Oh yeah.
sentence it just.
Oh, poor Sky. I hear nothing, Sky. I must have kicked you out again.
I feel her frustration.
Oh, seriously. Oh my goodness. I feel bad. Okay. Let's
She could
try
tell
this
me my
again.
poem was horse shit, and I'd love her anyway.
Okay.
Uh,
It
well,
kicked you
I'm
out.
awake. I'm awake now because I'm getting angry.
Oh no.
My
Oh,
adrenaline's up. Um, so so I think when people grow up like that, and I can say for me at least, it makes me very watchful of people, which always say I have a evil superpower because I think I am very good at manipulation. I think that there was a show a while ago, and Rack and I were talking, and then he was like, not every interaction is a manipulation, and I was like, well, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Pretty Bird on that one. And we were having a conversation about you without you, and talking about
You're
the show, because
fine.
I always ask him every day after the show. I say, how was the show? What happened? What did you do? What did you talk about? He always gives me the recap. And I'm like, and I think that's true. And I said, but however, that thing that I watch people and that I look at people benefits a lot of people because I work with a lot of nonverbal people. It also makes me in tune with people, what they need when they don't say it. However, you could use that to a very I could use it very badly.
Yes.
People, that same trait that makes me very attentive to people without them needing to tell me what they need, and I just give it to them without asking. That same attentiveness could also be turned into very bad manipulation, if
Scammers.
unchecked. And so it sounds like this poem is kind of like where piggybacking where Raconteur was talking about a little bit of Pretty Bird, which stems from your poem, that that those little things could be very turned very not good. So I did the best I could.
No, you're awesome. And yeah, there's when we can see what people are hiding, what they are having trouble expressing, when it is clear to us, it is very helpful to fill in the blanks for them. And also, if we were sinister, oh, we can get everybody up in a tizzy and be fully innocent. So I fully
Yeah.
feel you. I'm just like I have often said it's a good thing I love you, because sometimes people want to push that last stinking nerve, you know. Where if I wasn't who I was, I wouldn't feel bad about it, but I feel bad about everything. So I tend to be nice and just suck it up. I will sit with it myself and absorb all the bullshit. I probably shouldn't, because I need to be nicer to myself. Um, so there is
A
that. So
lot
I am right there with you. So it
that
is
that manipulation that
what
manipulation is why so many scammers are successful because they
well, this
apply
is
that
true.
logic.
It's not just that. It's very much society expects a certain amount of politeness. And if you're targeting people of another generation where the standard was full social politeness all around without this entitlement, it's a lot easier to get them to because their mindset's already, well, I want to be helpful, especially little old ladies, because that was their entire job. They had to be a good hostess. They had to be attentive. They had this. That is what was ingrained into their entire personality from childhood. So they're a lot easier to scam than, say, somebody who's like 25 and fuck you, you know what I mean? And so that's why they're often a target. That, and they often have more money than the younglings, so there's something to take. But yeah, and it sucks. It sucks. And this is why you should never tell people how much money you have or anything like that, because even the ones who know you, even in the periphery, will give you the sob story about, I just need $20. No, just go away. You can't even remember my last name. I don't know you. Just, I don't care if I have the money to give you. I'm not going to give it to you just because you want it. You know what I mean? There are very
Yep.
few people that I will just give them everything. Very few. I can count them on one hand. Whatever you need, I'll give it to you, you know? And that's in the entirety of my life. But it is just after 11. So I'm going to go through our announcements, and then we will move on to more poetry. So, on this Thursday, it is Summer Lovin'. So, summer lovin' is a whirlwind of swamp ass and romance with long days and magical nights that spark connection. Summer is a season for adventures. Yeah, I live in the land of eternal swamp ass, I'm not a big fan of swamp ass adventures, but love and adventures are real nice. So that is on Thursday, and then next week on Tuesday it is good intentions, my ass. So people often think they're doing what's best for you. Unfortunately, it can make things worse and your journey gets longer. So whether it's unsolicited help at work or someone's just thinking they know you better than they do, all too often the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that is next Tuesday. And then the following Friday on the 10th is when hell freezes over. It's almost like this is a precursor to spooky season because that's coming up so soon. I'm so excited. But this is not that. This is when hell freezes over. So hell is frozen over, and on the ice skating rink of the Devil's Pond, you ponder how the hell you got there. Are you worried, frightened? Do you give a damn? So tell us how when hell freezes over affects your day. So that is what is coming up through next week. And now, oh, I was gonna just completely forget about all of the information about our show because apparently I'm scatterbrained. So, like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinions. You can listen to the archives of all of our shows. Go into prettysweet.podbean.com, or you can listen to us live on Facebook, YouTube, and X every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And again, just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTYSWEET, one word. Click on the red shoes and follow us wherever we are. We would appreciate you subscribing and following and telling us what you think of our little shows, our reels, or whatever we have out there. Because feedback, it will help us be more of what our people want to listen to. Okay, no, I can't even. I can't say it with a straight face. We're going to be who we are, and we're going to use all the grown up words. But I don't mind listening to people talk shit. We're good. So that is what is coming up, and I've got a poem on the board. And this is It's All Fine and Dandy If You Just Leave That Box Alone by me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this. Night cracks and breaking stars, trading shadows of thought for facsimiles of a life, complete with hints of love. Shades of translucence and lack of light hold breaths of emotions that charge up dreams lost with innocent wonder. Technicolor emotions shock the self into becoming the totality of unnamed desire, teased with a glimpse that steals sight like a broken pixel on a black screen. What sense is a lifetime if each thought is of a fleeting moment in hopes of another, in wishes that melt joy to complacency? What life is left in hazy autumn whirligigs? Motions keep going as ruts grow deeper grooves, carving people out of circumstance, duty bound and self sacrificing, locking happiness in Pandora's box. Joy with the power to deconstruct a persona, to dismantle walls, turning concrete to dust, dreaming to the type dreaming to be the type to forego good enough in favor of fervor and gusto and passion and love, in the flavor of strawberry pop rock kisses that hijack thoughts with the taste turning into fevered plans for the next time and the time after that. But night cracks and breaking stars trading shadows of thought for facsimiles of a life complete with the memory of a love that steals dreams. And poem.
Is Sweet Pea coming off mute or am I jumping
She's
in?
not on mute.
Oh,
So, Sweet, are you up for it? I don't know if she can hear us. So go ahead, Rack.
I mean, I love the idea of this, and incorporating Pandora's box is brilliant, as usual. And then the other thing that you mentioned, you touch on uh, the idea that damn song, you can't love the love you want, have the one you love, the one you want, love the one you're with. I think there's notes of that in buried in this that scream at me as well. The idea of it. Yeah, that always kills me. The what ifs when you start going down that road, it drives me absolutely insane. And again, it belongs in Pandora's box, and it should be locked away, and never opened, and buried with Schrodinger's cat somewhere. So,
I
oh,
fully concur. And Sky, your thoughts?
Keep talking for a minute. I'm catching up. I was able to. I got online for your damn poem because I don't want to. I can't. I couldn't really hear you. So either you have to read it again or you have to give me a minute. I figured out how to get online here.
Oh, I
And
will absolutely give you a minute because I don't like reading, believe it or not. But yeah,
and
so
that's
it's very much um, life throws you curveballs, and you can't help who you fall in love with or how that happens or what it looks the things. And sometimes circumstances suck, and sometimes there's nothing you can really do to change it, no matter how hard you try. And everything is pros, cons, good and bad timing, and all the things. And it messes with your head in unexpected ways, because it's not the longing, it's the
Mhm.
running the parallels of you know those pros and cons, or not even the pros and cons. It's the feeling of fullness versus what is lacking, or where this is lacking, this isn't, or what is it. The journey is twisted, and it is a mental load on top of all the other um what is the term for when you make of this decision fatigue, of a day of running things, of doing all of this stuff. It's a lot, and it's silent, and it's painful, and it's everybody's individual journey, because I promise you, I don't know what creeps into your mind, or Sweet's mind, or the stranger down the street, or anybody else's mind at 2 o'clock in the morning when they can't sleep and their demons come out and play. It is unfortunate, and it makes us feel crazy, because not for nothing we do it to our damn selves. We are not always in control of what wants to seep in there, and God forbid a dream goes sideways, then you wake up with even more fucking questions, and was that the dream or the memory? So then you have to play it back and put yourself in that shit. Or maybe that's just me, it could just be me, it's fine. But it's crazy, the things that we do to ourselves. We literally drive ourselves nuts over things that um
I-
at any given moment can't necessarily be altered. And it sucks, and all we can do is
uh,
try to find the good in it and hold on to the good parts. But the less than stellar parts are so overwhelming that it's very hard not to be buried by them. It's crazy what our
yeah.
minds do to ourselves, and calling it safe and learning and trying to keep you safe for future pain. It is treacherous. It's craziness. Sky, are you ready?
yes, I've read it.
Okay.
I've read it. You're lucky I can. My brain has multiple tabs that I can open because I was still trying to listen to you too.
As long as none of them are
Um,
frozen.
yeah, there's this thing called like delay. Delay. A lot of people with ADHD they have like a delay income. They can actually pause what's happening, intake what they need to take, and then it's like a thing. I don't know. It's a thing that look it up. Um, I love the poem,
Yes.
and I love the title, and it's true. Like, as someone who does compartmentalize, I don't, I do it very well, but not always healthy because then I hit my wall, and then I'm like stressed out city, and I get burnt out. But here where you talk about, you know, at night I think, once your mind calms and you're like, oh, what box can I pick from now? Um, it's just when you put away all those boxes and you don't delve into them, that's what ends up happening. You're having your subconscious played out, or you're trying to go to bed, and that's when you want to analyze everything. I love the use of technicolor emotions. This is one of my favorite stanzas. I was able to open up all poetry with my phone. So I'm super excited. And I moved my butt out of bed to move my phone to see if it was my connection. I did not want to do that, but I did it for you.
That's what
But
love
I
is
love this
like.
stanza.
It's for you,
And
Damien. It's all
I,
for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're not supposed to try to get me out of bed. All right. So, no, seriously, I really, I really, okay, focus,
You're
focus. All right.
feisty.
That was, I know because I was sleeping and now I'm awake and I got angry. Um, I
I
was getting
love
so
it.
angry with my phone. Um, yeah, but I absolutely love this stanza. It's trapped with a glimpse that steals sight. Like I'm not going to read it because you read it better. But the pixel, the idea of the broken pixels and then the Technicolor, bringing in those, you know, I don't know. It's very tangible, very visual to me because you're using metaphor, but. You know the when everything is black and white, you know, and the first Wizard of Oz movie when they first brought out the Technicolor, it's like a
Uh,
changing, and it is, and it kind of just throws your y- y- the metaphor is great because it really does just shift everything. And when you're thinking about that, but in the context that you're saying, I just think it's a really cool idea, and I really love that one. And then and you know, going down to where was I? There was one other part that I was um, well, I did like the Pandora's box too, because why are you touching it? Why are you touching it right now? Just don't do it. Oh, this one. This is the one. The flavor of strawberry pop rock kisses, but hijack thoughts. That too was very. I like poetry when it starts bringing in different ideas and different like day-to-day things that
mhm.
you're like, oh, like look at that. But then you realize the popping in your mouth and the overwhelming sensation, and then you correlate that to your thoughts and how it does overwhelm your brain and how it's just, and you can not only think about how your brain's popping ideas, but you actually are relating it to the feeling in your mouth when that happens. And I know I'm getting a little technical, but I really like poetry that does that. So for me, it makes the poem more attainable. It makes me connect more to it because of how you use the metaphor. Um, so really well done. And thank you for waking me up in the middle of the night because now I'm fully awake. And that's not
OMG.
okay because I have to wake up in 4 hours.
I love you. And I appreciate that. It's funny because there's a story behind that pixel. So I had this problem with HP. I got my first laptop, and I wanted this so badly because I'm a desktop girl. I much prefer desktop, right? So I wanted a little laptop that fit into like a little tote bag that I can carry with me to write things on the fly because, you know, whatever. But this was back when a million years ago, when they first had these little mini laptop hybrid keyboarded tablets that had the removable top, you know, like you can
Screen.
um that you can use it as a tablet and but take the thing completely off. That wasn't a third party um keyboard. It was actually part of, like, you can clamshell that sucker. And I wanted this thing. And so I got it for my birthday. Now it was cheap. I got it for my birthday and it had one pixel out. And you can't look at a screen with a pixel that's just lighted up on a black screen that's white and not see anything else but the white on that screen. And I, over years of unfortunate escalation, I got a brand new fully loaded computer that one failed after 2 years. And they built me three different computers, and then they gave me a big ass screen because just use it as a desktop because we can't fix this. We rebuilt it. We had some guy put a new screen. I can't help you with the light bleeds. Will I ever buy another HP? Probably not. But I got thousands of dollars in free computers because of that one freaking pixel, and I saw it. So I'm all right with that. Um, but yeah, it's that freaking bothersome, and so I like that you called that out because it was such a visceral thing for me, like just something so tiny that pulls your focus that you can't see anything
Yep.
else. and it's a little crazy. And I don't know that had that ever happened to me, I would have had another metaphor that would depict that so succinctly. But my brain is also broken, so I sometimes have trouble pulling words. But raconteur, I'm going to put willpower up because you were very eager for that one, so we're going to read that one first. You good with that?
Yes.
Awesome. So I was going to see if you wanted to read, but you're having a time. I'll read it. It's fine. So this is by you. I mean Sky, because obviously you can't. It's fine.
I mean, I can
OMG.
try if you want me to.
Sure.
It might not go well.
I mean, since you're awake and spry, I mean, go ahead.
That's what happened because I got so angry. My adrenaline's on. Okay, now that I can do this, let me just go back to all poetry. And I'm never on here, and they have a new system, and
Listen, if
don't
you
know how to
go
navigate it.
to the regular page, if you click the Raven, there's a little thing that says for the old one, it says old view or old something. Click that. I can't deal with the new shit. It sucks.
Neither. But I also can I click you, and then I go. Oh nope, that's not what I go. Okay. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I mean, if you guys are patient enough. All right, I go to my mail, and then you messaged me, and I can go to groups. Oh, okay, groups. Oh, groups. Groups.
I
Pretty
couldn't even
sweet
tell you
distraction.
where they are.
You all have to suffer through. Okay. Here we go. Willpower by Raconteur. The world's asleep, yet I'm wide awake, unable to close my eyes, terrified of what lurks there. No idea where I am or how I got there. Petrified, but not yet numb. Toiling under the weight of what if. I'm exhausted, going nowhere. Chasing time that's been borrowed, lost, or wasted. Thinking I can change my fate by simply manifesting a better outcome. Unwilling to relinquish my grip on those moments interrupted by sanity, preferring the reality of what's least expected to one which invariably results in ruin. And
Oh, I have to sneeze. Give me a second. Whew. Okay, maybe I'm not sneezing right now, but I thought I had to. Okay, so I feel a little naked. Not that this has anything to do with me, but your third verse, I'm exhausted, going nowhere, chasing time that's been borrowed, lost, or wasted, thinking I can change my fate by simply manifesting a better outcome. And maybe it's all of us because it's this universal place of being stuck emotionally where the more you think about it, the more time goes by that you can't get back, and then we kind of berate ourselves for dwelling on these things that have nothing to do with the now or the future, and the things that we could have changed or wanted to change, and we don't even usually, for me anyway, extrapolate that into what we can change in the future. It's not about that. It's about I need things better now. And I wish I way, I wish I may, I wish I might, and it doesn't work that way. And then we feel useless, which is an unfortunately familiar feeling for me, but we still don't want to let go on the whimsy of those moments that made us feel something. And sometimes it doesn't even matter if it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. The fact that it's feeling by nature means that it's exciting. Now, exciting doesn't mean all good. I mean, just that you're stirred up in whatever faction of joy or pain. It's not your absolute zero of dullness or numbness that we're familiar with as well. If you feel something, it makes you feel alive, and therefore it excites you, whatever. Anyways, I'm not using excitable to mean necessarily good, and I know that you people understand, but I don't know who's going to be listening to this. I don't know what they understand. And So those moments interrupted by sanity. And here's the thing, emotions are irrational by design. They don't follow logic, they don't follow rhyme or reason. And they are the best parts, good or bad, they are the best parts of who we are and how we interact with each other. If if none of us felt anything about anything, we wouldn't be pulled into action. We wouldn't have concern. We would just, you know, be those little automaton, cubicle, whatever that don't talk to each other and don't, and it's it's like the movies, when they want a cement gray work experience, that's what it looks like. But to live that sucks the life out of you more than being sad, more than being elated, more than being angry. That it's vibrant, even if you don't like the color. And so we dwell on these moments, or we think about them. We have these fantasies. Maybe it's just me. I might be saying too much. We have these fantasies of things, and not just what we could have said or should have said or wanted to say, or if I ever come across this situation again, or if the next time I see this person, the first thing I'm going to do is hold their face in my hands, or whatever it is. We think of these things and it makes us feel some kind of way, like those moments are just as real as the nothing that's going on around us right now. And it's hard to let go of that, because that feels more alive sometimes than the mundane place we also find ourselves in our daily lives. Because I don't think that every single day is meant to be exciting, because that's what stress looks like. You know, it's people would need downtime if being excitable all the time was the healthiest way to exist. But I love this, because the world's asleep, yet I'm wide awake, and I miss those moments, those between, those the 4 o'clock witching hour of free thought, when the world is asleep and your brain is half asleep enough to not hinder your thought process, where it's free to roam wherever it is. And sometimes it shocks you where it goes, without, when it's unruly and unhindered. And I find that to be flippin' amazing. So, Sweet Pea, you're back. Did you hear the poem?
Part of it. Um, we are grandiose sometimes, um, in our thoughts and in our dreams, but you have a way of making that kind of sound like, um, it's hard to want every day to be something special, because it would basically kill us. Um, you have such a way with words that are soothing, even in their most devastating ways. I don't know how you do that, but you have a way of putting together these story like things that are so drastic and emotional, that half of your poems either make me want to cry, or the other half make me want to wonder who the hell I've been all my life. And this kind of makes me feel both. Um, I would love to do a whole analysis of this, but this is just a beautiful sky poem where you really feel every emotion in it. And once again, you just blow me away.
It was Rack who wrote it. Sky read it.
Raconteur.
Yeah.
But so Sky, your thoughts?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so a
You're
couple
fine, sweetie.
things. Um, I so as for someone who definitely needs decompression time, I could tell you right now, I do not like every moment needing to do things, and that is what it has been. And I'm telling you right now, as someone who really, really needs decompression time away from everybody, like, and not talking to anybody, like just being by myself. And I can be by myself with a 3-year-old, but that's about it. You know, definitely important. And I really haven't been getting that. So I'll tell you right now, I agree with you there. Your poem, Raconteur, I was actually on the same page when I read it and when I reread it to myself when um other comments are going on too, I have to really agree with kind of where Pretty Bird, that's kind of like where I was going, my thought process too, with how your poem was going. And the thing is as someone, and it's kind of funny because Pretty Bird kind of went somewhere with her thought process on your poem, and I went somewhere the same way, but a different path. I am definitely prone to at night. Well, now I put on an audiobook so that I can go to sleep, so I can get out of my own head. I just put on the audiobook. I follow that way. I'm thinking about somebody else's problems and somebody else's life, and then that actually makes me be able to sleep. It's better than taking melatonin or something, so it's fine. So, but and it's funny because throughout my life I can see those shifts where my priority shifts, because I'm definitely someone, kind of what Pretty Bird said, except instead of I should have said this, can I go back, what if I went back and changed this? I don't do that too much, but I definitely do the forward. Well, what if this happened and I was able to do this and I was able to do all the things that you're carrying. You kind of say, how can they all be fixed? Oh, well, maybe this will happen. I'm definitely one of those. But then you start going into there, and that's why this poem is very relatable to me, because you start talking about, you know, you descend into that, um, into how do I get what I want? How do I get there? What if this happened? But this is the thing that your poem is you, and I don't know why. It just always makes me, you say all these things, and talking about, can I change, and how can the outcome, and then you're like, in that world, and even in that world of how can things be better, how can things change, if things were different, how can I be in this world, even in that state of pretending or imagining, you bring in that last line, and which was, inevitably it will result in ruin as well. And that's when you kind of go out with that, like, stomach drop, because even in that world, even in that place where you can have hope for a moment, not you but the reader, the speaker, the person, but even in that moment of that person being in that state of how in the world this will be better, it's still that last line drop, like, well, even in all that, it's still going to end badly, there's still going to be ruin, there's still no hope. And I think that's what kind of, like, it's just, I was like, oh man, like, what a state, like, just, I don't know, kind of rips your heart out. So loved it, because I think that a lot of people well, at least, Pretty Bird and I, and and Sweet connected to it, and said, well, I can relate to that. Um and then right when I thought I got the line, and I'm like, oh man, even when it's in an imagination, it's still unhappy, and that's just sometimes the way things are, but it's just sad. It's really well done.
Well, I
Thank you.
I think that a part of that, that makes it feel so true is the more we think, good or bad, future or past, the more we dwell on things that aren't present, the more it detracts from what it is we need to do now, or the pulls focus, where so oftentimes we find that we don't have focus to spare. And it's often, for me, I mean, I don't know how anybody else is. I could always just be the asshole, and I'm okay with that. Even when it's in the future, it's possibilities of things that still need other things to get to. And I overthink everything,
No,
good
I
or
get that.
bad.
I get
I
that. I
and
get that, because I'm definitely someone who needs, like, a kick in the pants that says, "No, do this now, and then you
yeah,
can be one step closer." I'm definitely one of those who needs, like, a push,
but
so I
it's
get what you're saying.
it feels more productive. to say, well, I want to do this, this, and this is what I need to do to get to all of these things. You think of all the possibilities of all the different things of all that stuff, but you don't take the step to get to anything that's in that direction because you're too busy thinking of all the possibilities. And so too much of a good
It's like you
thing.
know me.
It's it's just too much of a good thing. Tends it's anything that pulls extra focus from things that would benefit us to do now. And the thing is, sometimes I'm too exhausted to do anything but think. And I don't want to think about the bullshit that is overwhelming right now that I know I need to do to that all the stuff that needs doing. And I want to get out of that. So I'll think of something else. But then I go down this rabbit hole or down whatever abyss. And next thing you know, it's 3 days later, I still haven't done that shit. I'm like, damn, now there's more things to do. And so there needs to be a balance. I need to find a way to straddle these things, be kind of productive and be kind of lost in whimsy, and then I'll be okay. But I haven't found it yet. I'm not really holding out a whole lot of hope at this point. But
But what I find is that I have like this thing, and then like I can only do so many things in a day before my brain says, "Okay, nope, you cannot do anything." And then I find myself ticking off the boxes for everybody else that needs something. And then when I get down on my box, I'm like, "Wait a minute, I didn't even touch my box, and now I'm too exhausted, and I don't even want to go near that box because I want to go to bed now." I gotta
and that
stop. I gotta stop picking off the boxes for everybody else, but it's a very I can't like it's just
it's very
sometimes
hard to put ourselves
people are
first.
very needy.
Well, it's not even that they're needy. It's that we're not as important as they are to ourselves. And I know a few people that are like, no, I you need to do this for me, and you need to do that for me, and you need to do this for me.
Oh,
I know a few people like that. I'm not one of them. And so when people talk, okay, let me explain. I am not the one to say you need to do this for me and you need to do that for me. I know people that I know a lot of people that have this expectation that I'm going to do all the things, and most of the time I do. But the thing is, what I know I need to learn, where I know I need to improve is I need to make myself at least equally as important as the other people that I love, because I don't count myself. It's not that I don't love myself. I am non-existent in my thought process of importance. And it's not that I think that I'm nothing. It's just not a
oh,
thought. It's not a consideration. It's not something
yeah,
that I actively push away. I'm like, these are the people that I love. This is what I can do for them. And because I'm not on that list, I am forgotten. And people get really used to you being there and doing all the things. And because if you're
yeah.
doing all the things, it looks like you don't need anything, but you still need them to do some of the things that you do for them, emotionally speaking, stress wise, whatever it is. But if you have to verbalize it, well, what about me? Then you sound like a needy asshole. And it's a lot more difficult to put yourself in that list of people to do things for. It's a lot more difficult to do that than it sounds like it should be. You know what I mean? It sounds like it should be easy. I will put myself forth on the list. I will be like, okay, I'll do something for you, you, a little something for me, something for you, a little something for me. It sounds like it should be easy. But when you've been an
Mhm.
afterthought to yourself for your whole life, it is extremely
Oh,
difficult to put yourself in the mix because it almost feels like, well, now I feel narcissistic. Well, now I feel like whatever. And on top of that, if you're, a little mental like me, it pulls to the forefront the fact that why am I doing everything for everybody else and nobody considers me at all? And it feels like shit. And if you don't
oh,
consider yourself, it's not in the forefront, and then you don't have to feel like shit because you don't notice. And it should not be a deterrent. It should be a motivator, but it feels like shit. So it's a deterrent. And it's crazy the way our minds twist things to be
yeah.
so difficult when on paper it should be easy. It's just crazy to me. So, Sweet Pea, how are you feeling? Are you up for reading your next one? Because I put you up, but if you're not up for reading it yet, just let me know. You're still muted.
Beep, beep,
Well, you unmuted for a second, so oh, there
There I
you are.
go. Yeah, I might be able to do that.
Okay,
And my noise is gone too. I had a breathing thing in between. So,
you're perfectly fine. And if you can't make it through, just let me know and I'll read it.
um, we'll see how that goes. Okay, this is Blackbirds and Awkward Words. Struggling to find peace inside the bottom of a coffee cup. Choking on the bitter taste, I make a slurping sound. On the edge of the china cup while protesting Asian communist power. Cantillating cause, cast judgment, and horrific melodies. Through smudged kitchen windows, complacent and hungover, I vomit the words of imbeciles, speaking in riddles of ravens and Poe. Rambling in Shakespearean blunders, what is thou thinking, bird? Giggling at madness dripping from brain to tongue. Clarity of consciousness condemns my bravado, reversing Darwin's theory on evolution regarding Homo sapiens. Blackbirds view a woman pointing and screaming, wet dew seeping from dark eyes, finding no calm in being, no reaper's plan, just a murderous reminder to live outside in the world around her. End poem.
Well, I think that is all of us stuck in our poetic minds. There's a little bit of hating ourselves and all the things, and yet it calls to us to delve in there, ink it out, and pretend to people. And it's funny because to society as a whole, um, I think that we people just fine, you know, but in our own brains, not so much with the peopling. I am just saying, well, at least, okay, listen. um, the blackbirds view a woman pointing and screaming, wet dew seeping from dark eyes finds no calm in being. Here's the thing with being, meaning with emphasis on being, I mean, that's existence. That is an awful place to be, stuck in your emotions that are it's like you're wailing. It's coming out of your eyeballs. You have no words, just this deep pain, and and it's a hard place to be. But there's no reaper's plan. You ain't nobody ending things. You're just gonna have to suffer. Just a murderous reminder to live outside in the world around here. And here's the thing, because the murder of crows and all of the stuff, and the raven, and Poe, and all of these things that are in here, and wonderful poetic metaphors. The truth is, clarity of consciousness condemns my bravado. When you are aware that existence is futile and you cannot escape it, and there is nothing that's going to help you escape it, not to put any unfortunate ideas in anybody's heads, but when you feel stuck in the futility of existence, all you can do is feel and let it out the best you can, whether that is in the crying, whether that is in the writing, whether it's in a mix of both, as usual, because that's how emotions work. It is a tough place to be, but very well depicted, very visceral. So, Raconteur, your thoughts?
You made me think of the damn Borg when you said existence is futile.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, but and I guess there's little echoes of that in this piece. I love, because Poe and the Raven, and Raven bird and bird, pretty bird. So that whole dichotomy there, it just builds on the thought of this. Um, the there was a quote that Poe had written to a compatriot that made me think of tonight too. He descended. I descended into madness with intermittent bouts of horrible sanity. It was like, he enjoyed, going insane and thinking about that. Um, in the context of this, it kind of brought things into focus and made it very emotional and very visceral for me.
Well, it wasn't really insanity. It was he was an alcoholic and his wife was dying. So whenever he was sober, his wife was dying. So when he was all drunk or whatever, he could pretend his wife wasn't dying.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was, it was a hard place to be. So, Sky, your thoughts?
Oh, sweet. If at the end of a coffee cup you can't still find peace, then you need to pour more coffee into the coffee cup.
You need a bigger cup.
You need a bigger cup. Yeah, I
Uh,
I love
is that
this.
a boob joke?
I think, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's the first thing. I'm like, whole poem fixed, right? No. I think when you, when you, I think when people kind of really look inside of themselves and, sometimes looking inside or being inside of our mind isn't always pleasant, especially if we're going through things. I mean, I don't think there's a person on this earth that can say not a moment in their life have they reflected and had a moment by themselves and felt completely desolated. I think everybody at some point has felt like that. And when when you talk about, choking on the bitter taste and a slurping sound, and you're using these examples, obviously this isn't physically happening, but it's happening in your mind. And when you get down to looking out the window and the murder of crows watching this person pointing, it makes me think of the person inside screaming and going through all these things and trying to connect with the outside world. um but it's like the outside world isn't seeing all that chaos inside that is happening. And I think that feeling of entrapment is something that definitely I think, unfortunately, relatable. The way that you described it, I think makes it more relatable because you're saying you're connecting ideas and saying, oh, and you're not quite coming out and saying it, and you're leaving it in the subtext, which I liked as well. The part that I liked at the end when you're saying outside in a world around, to live life outside in a world. Again, that's really driving home the images and the ideas that I got throughout the poem, that no matter what is happening inside, you still have to learn to live on the outside and present whatever it is that you want or need to present at that time, even though this is all going on inside. And that kind of uh, mental oppression of emotions can definitely make you feel a little crazy. And that's kind of like what I got out of that. So really well done.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I've got one up. It is.
I am actually going to say goodnight, guys.
All right. Good night, sweetheart. You feel better.
All right. I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
So this is Schrodinger's fucking cat can kiss my ass by me, Pretty Bird. Bound my wounded heart to silence the beating, encased it in darkness to quiet the tears. Even in padlocked iron, the world wasn't safe from a love that breaks everything. Bare bones and stronger foundations feel like pumping panic through peace and acid through gears of sanity, all at the heart, all at the hands of a heart that loves everything to death. I saved them all, locked in an empty chest, with a mind stuck in grinded gears, pieces of memory macerated in useless cogs, and the knowledge that the best of me breaks the best of them. 70 days since the bludgeoning that left me blind, 57 since the week it took to run my bowels in the street looking for the stink of lies I never told. But it was I, myself, who sharpened the quill that ripped through the flesh of my psyche, separating logic and gaping holes, the only thing that tied me to anguish in the tortured truth, bathing in the sulfured hot springs of a silent volcano, closing skin over broken bones with rusted staples that couldn't hold my ink. I could still feel it fly, a phantom heart, feeding phantom emotion, the only reality. Tricked by a box, mocking rhythms through migraines and unsafe conclusions, dead, alive, bound, free, facets of truth that feel like funhouse reflections of lucidity. And so it beats to fly home, bound and forbidden, where death can only be seen as, as lividity is measured by sight. And poem.
I have always loved this poem. I think it's been a long time since I first heard it. Um, and that thing about Schrodinger's cat. I, I, the title of this, you've got, it wasn't it a little different at one point.
Nope.
Um,
It
and
was
maybe I
always
misheard.
Schrodinger's fucking cat can kiss my ass.
Okay, you did say that.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when you read I missed that part because I was listening for it. Because by moving that one word around, you change the whole meaning of the title. So,
Oh, you mean
anyways,
Schrodinger's fucking cat or Schrodinger's cat can kiss my fucking ass? Yes, it's a little bit different.
oh, but yeah, the dead or alive thing that you bring about that emotion that feeling that some of us walk around living, it's almost like being a ghost. It's you want to feel alive, you want to live your life, but you know you kind of not. It's I hate the idea of that, but I like everybody. I think I could relate to it. So there's a lot packed into this, and you know I think Freud would have a field day with it. Did Freud know Schrodinger? Man, no, never mind. Stupid question. Oh, I mean, I love this piece. I always have. I think it's brilliant.
And Sky, your
Uh, uh,
thoughts? Sky, are you with us?
can you hear me?
No, I can't. Are you talking to me?
Yes.
It's just the three of us now.
I know. Can you hear me though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you call on me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't. I
Are you still there? Oh, I think you're having technical difficulties again.
Oh, is she in the box or not?
I mean, it looks like she's on, but I don't think she can hear us, or we can't hear her.
Yeah.
Oh, here she comes. You
Oh, but
back?
I was doing so good. Come on. Can I ask you a
You're here
question?
now.
I know. Um, can I ask you a question before I make a comment?
Yeah. Hmm.
Is this the idea of the whole it tied into just because I mean I got to tell you the truth. I don't know too much about that experiment. Is it the idea of being dead and alive at the same time?
Yes.
And that is what it's kind of playing on, right?
Also, the
Hmm.
fact that it's in that box that happens to have that P word name like the other poem. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. The only way to check is to open that freaking box.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted it because I mean I just wanted to make sure that I was following your thread of your thread. That's all. Um I loved it. You know what it kind of gave me vibes of? Drew, I can't remember I'm gonna be really honest with you. I can't remember the details, but remember when you sent me that story in an email, and it was a very different kind of writing. It was a story. It was dark
Gehenna's Reign,
that you wrote.
about the pregnant wife.
I thought it was about a killer.
The pigtails.
The killer, what the killer, the one who killed the rapists.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a poem, not a story, but yes,
It was it. No, it was was it a story poem?
it was a. I guess. I mean, it's in here as it's. I mean, it's a poem. It's
Did you do
prose.
like
We'll
a
call it
series?
that.
Did you do a series? You were doing like like a whole story series thing.
No,
No, but you did send
no.
me something like that, and it was dark.
I might have. I don't know. I mean, I know I wrote one.
You didn't post it. You sent me something. You didn't post. It
Oh,
was a
I
little
said that
dark.
the
It's
full one is Gehenna's Reign, and it's not a killer. Well, okay, so he killed his wife on accident, on the way to the hospital when she was giving birth, and then everybody dies, but except for him, and then he suffers through all the stuff, and he eats, and then there's a lot of gore.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay,
So I told you I said I'm struggling to remember the details. I'm sorry, but I remember how it made me feel, and I remember the writing, the tone of the writing, and I remember there was a lot of gore. I remember I
yeah,
did
there was
like it,
so much
but
gore that the founder of Nightmare Magazine wrote me himself to tell me that it was a little much for his for his subscribers. I was
oh
like,
my
but
gosh,
your Nightmare Magazine, how is it too gory?
I don't. Well, I remember that I enjoyed it, but I was like, "Oh my god." Anyway, I don't know why, but this poem reminded me of that, like that kind of vibe. I don't know why. I don't just my brain was not like the same topic, but just the same energy. I don't know why. It brought to mind. I think it was because I think it was a little bit darker. I There's so many things. There's so many things in this poem that I can and I and there and the thing is that the reason why if I'm like, "Can I ask you a question?" It's because I'm really in my mind and thought process, which I think is great for a poem because if it's one of those that you can really chew on. And I'm not just trying to say that to like bullshit you. And but I really you can take it piece by piece and be like and dissect it and that's what my brain is doing. So I apologize if I seem a little scattered, but I really loved that there was a lot of things. The bare bones and stronger foundation. This this whole this whole section here. I also and yeah, and the idea of all that the hands that hurt that loves everything, but also when it was like you're loving it to death. I don't know where that was, but um really love that. I also loved how you set it up. I loved that the way that you use spacing, because it almost seemed like the intimacy of like a letter, but to one's like you're kind of looking into one's diary. And I thought that personal perspective made it like I don't know. I don't want to say confessional because that's not really the one I want, but I don't know. Like you're just looking inside, like when if someone's telling a story or in a movie, and you start going through their inner thought process, and you feel that more intimate connection into that. So I really enjoyed that. Um, I don't know. There's just so many things that you really could. I think it was the 70 days since bludgeoning that left me blind. I think that's where my mind went off to that story. Um, Really well done. I mean, you really could take everything apart when you're talking about um you know,
Yes.
being one's own worst enemy. When you start in on this stanza, you know, with sharpening one's own quill and ripping through the flesh into the psyche. And I don't know. Sometimes people just bleed themselves raw. And I really loved how you kind of took that piece by piece.
I
Anyway.
appreciate
And I
that.
like
And go
even though
ahead.
I don't know that particular I don't know too much about that. Um but I understand
Experiment.
enough to know that with it being dead and alive at the same time, and then the concept of that. And I really liked how you kind of went through that. That was a
Yeah.
terrible comment. I'm sorry. That was a bunch of
It's
rambling.
not
I love your
actually
poem.
because here's the thing. If a
The more
poem
I gotta
makes you
tell you, the more I ramble, the more I'm processing, and the more that I tell you, the
well,
more a poem makes me think.
if a poem makes you think or feel, I mean, you really can't ask anything more from words. So you're good. You're absolutely good. And it's funny because here's the thing: as somebody breaks your heart to pieces, you're doing your best not to emotionally bleed out. You tuck it away somewhere, and you don't want to look at it because you don't want to revive anything. But how do you make sure it's dead if you're not faced with it, and you're sitting there hating yourself for every option, and second guessing all the things. And here the problem with that, i.e. the Pandora's box, is that if you open it up to check, you're just going to start it all over again or dredge up things that you're going to inhibit your healing. It's a mess of shit, man. Broken hearts suck. I am just saying. And but we do have one more poem. I know it's midnight, but we have the one more poem from Rack on the board. Since you read the last one, I'll read this one. This is Abject Solitude by Raconteur, and it goes like this. Let me introduce you to my tortured soul infused in all that I write, which begs the question, so what is your goal? My reply is bleeding on the page for my reader's delight. I've learned my sense of irony listening to the universe laughing at the satire that is my existence. And just when I'm convinced things can't get any worse, fate demonstrates the futility of my resistance. What I need never mattered. I've learned to make do with what I've got, leaving my dreams on the ground shattered because my feelings matter not. Bits and pieces of nothing, seeds of hope that never bore fruit. Apparently, I'm missing the one thing that might assist in my romantic pursuits. I failed to understand why I'm viewed as a fool or a fraud. Things don't seem to go as planned when people's perception of me is so flawed. I've given everything I am away, and anything left, time has ground to dust. Nobody bothers to listen to what I have to say, and my tears have reduced my armor to rust. End poem. You know, eh, at the beginning of this, let me introduce you to my tortured soul. Kind of just that one line reminds me of the Big Top Callers, come
Uh-huh.
on, come on. I actually have a poem that starts like that, if I now that I think about it. But it kind of pulls you in, and you kind of analyze yourself in a way that is kind of amazing. And before I get further into that comment, let's say hi to Silk. Hi, Silk. How are you doing?
Hey, hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Awesome. We have Raconteur and Sky with us.
Oh, hey, Rick, and hey,
Yeah.
Sky. I haven't heard either of you
Yo.
for a while. It's really cool.
So,
Is Sky Darkholme or?
yes,
Okay,
and we
cool.
have
I miss you too.
I
So
just read Abject Solitude from Rack. If you wanted to take a look at it while I go, I'll ask for a comment from you last if you're up for it.
Yeah, let me go. Let me see if I
Okay.
can figure. Well, I can do it off. Duh,
Well,
I got my computer right in front of me while I'm trying
uh,
to look it
all
up
right.
on
Well,
my
I'm
phone.
I'm gonna have my comment, and then I'll call on Sky so you have time to read it. Rack, the there's the despair and the bits and pieces of nothing, the seeds of hope that never bore fruit. And the soil and water of those seeds changes person to person, mood to mood, and it sucks because um sometimes the only fertilizer you get is bullshit, and that doesn't grow everything right. I am just saying. And we sit there and we analyze why people see us the way they see us. So when you're like, I'm viewed as a fool or a fraud, but they don't see you the way you see yourself or who you think you are. And um when you give everything you can, and there's nothing in return, and they don't notice anyway, because sometimes people are just giant holes. it sucks and it's lonely. And the gentlest part of this entire poem is that last line, and my tears have reduced my armor to rust. I'm going to say, unpopular opinion incoming, when people's perception of me is so flawed. And I forget who had the quote of something to the effect of, I am not who I think I am. I am not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. And I love the idea of that, because I'm like, oh, he must think I'm an asshole. I must have done something that might lead somebody to think I'm an asshole, even if I don't think I'm an asshole. And so when people's perception of me is flawed, um, if I try to extrapolate that into my own universe, it makes me wonder, well, if that's how they see me, I mean, what led up to them seeing me that way? What did I do or say or miss or misconstrue that might have reacted some kind
Oh
of
shit.
sideways
Oh my.
way, that they thought that makes them see me as something other than I believe myself to be. Now, not that I had to do anything or that I would change who I am, but people see us through their own experiences, emotionally speaking, and, sometimes they're the a-hole. It's not always us. And it's a hard thing to try to discern after the fact. And it's a losing battle, because we can't bridge that gap with conversations we've never had, or are unable to have at this point. And it's a hard place to be. And the softness of that last line really, really and truly moved me. So, Sky, your thoughts?
Yes, and I agree with the big top because it really was, but but not like the big top, like a nightmare version of that, when you first start going into it, and you start talking about the universe having a joke, like no matter what's presented, it's just not good. And if after one thing after another, sometimes if all these things just keep happening, and you're like, why does this keep happening? Is the universe playing a joke? And to be in that kind of rut and saying, what is happening, and kind of saying, what you said, well, I guess I'll just make do with what I got. I guess I'm just gonna have to keep trying. And even though being dealt all these awful cards, where one is still trying to play them and say, okay, this is what I was dealt. I'm still going to try to play the game, and still getting shut down. And as you write in the poem, shattered. Um, and things just rotting by the waistline, even though there's still effort there. And I mean, that's just a terrible place to be. And then when you go down, to speaking of not missing something, when people when people are offering themselves in relationships, and other people are saying, well, no, it's not working out. What's the first thing you do? You look, right, and say, well, what am I missing? What am I lacking? What am I? It didn't have nothing to do with you, but that's the first thing you do, right? You say, well, why am I not enough? Let me see what's happening here. You internalize that. And again, and then when you get down to, and the part that I really, when you get down to the way that people, view the one thing, that, and kind of Pretty Bird kind of went on with that quote, but the one thing that there's a great abundance, is prejudice, right? So on here, you don't know what most people don't know what I do for work. They don't know me outside of here. They don't know what I look like. They don't know what I wear. They don't know what kind of groups, what kind of places. They don't know those day-to-day things. However, they don't know, some people don't know how old I am. You know, you however, you do get a very personal touch on here, where you read people's poetry, you read their thoughts, and you read how they feel about, I mean, you literally have conversations. And to me, you strip away, when you're on here, you strip away a lot of those prejudice that somebody might say, okay, well, and they may say, and I'm only going to use this as an example, they may say, oh, well, this person is deaf or this person is blind, so I'm going to have prejudice against that or this and that, or all these this person wears glasses, guy wearing glasses, right? This person has glasses. They All those prejudice strip away when you get on here, and it's great because people can see us and understand a part of you, and then again, they don't see all the other parts, so they might be prejudiced in a different way. They might have different expectations, and they may not see the whole. So it's just like it's everywhere, and even the shelling out different pieces, you still have those prejudice that sometimes feels, and it's very rare to see those people that just kind of say, okay, this is the person and this is how I accept them. It's not often, and you kind of grab a hold of that when it is there. But when it isn't, again, your last line, reducing it to rust, like, wait, it's just like a wasting away of oneself, because you're like, well, there's no matter what I do, it doesn't seem to work out. And again, this must be the hurt locker, and you know how I feel about that. Really well done.
So, Silk, you're back. Did you
Yeah,
have a chance to read the poem? Are you ready to comment?
I did. I did read it, and actually it actually hit me on a bunch of different levels. Like, well, first off, at the beginning here, where you're talking about the whole thing, let me introduce you to my tormented soul, infusing all that I write. That's basically a lot of times that's what poetry is digging up a little piece of ourselves and showing it to everybody, really. Um, but to me also, it also made me think of the line part of this whole, like the beginning, the first two stanzas. I'm not sure if Stephen King actually said it or they just made it in the movie. I have read Pet Cemetery way back, but I can't remember if that line was actually in the book. But when he's talking to his neighbor there and he says something about a man's heart is stonier, we uh, tend what we can or lives we can and let them grow or whatever. But for some reason that struck me there as well. But a lot of this also to me, very personally, about the later on where you're talking about people's expectations being viewed as flawed, or like what Pretty Bird there was saying about people seeing you one way and then not another. Um, it's like to me, I personally have had that experience on all poetry, and part of the reason I've kind of gone away from all poetry is
Uh-huh.
everyone started seeing me as a sensual writer only. Like, I could get on a show and read like the most horrific, heart-stabbing piece and have people just talk about how sensual it was, and I'm like, you weren't even listening to me read the poem, and just um, I've had a few instances like that. But what got me down here too was the ending. I've been having a really bad week myself, and this part about I've given everything I am away, and anything left time is ground to dust. Nobody bothers to listen to what I have to say, and my tears have reduced my armor to rust. That's a very powerful ending and really resonates with me myself. I've been doing a lot of reflecting lately. I won't go into the craziness that's gone over the past 2 years of my life, but let's just say I've done a lot of looking back and reflecting and a lot of changing. And to me, I've found myself that I give too much of myself to people who don't really always deserve it.
Yeah.
Um, and like I will give and give and give until it's just there's nothing, and I just leave myself nothing while I've helped them, and then they're not even fucking grateful for it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Can we
Yep.
cuss?
Oh no, we curse here. We're
Yes.
good.
Okay, okay, yeah. Because I mean, I've I had one person that I helped. I sent money to even like I'd send them money and I'd give them anything they need. Like I'd buy them this that their kid need that. I'd buy them that. You know, I'm not talking huge amounts of money or nothing. I don't got money. I'm talking maybe like $20 here and there. But
Yep.
like, 'cause I don't even make that much money. So,
I hear you.
um, but I do help if I can, and I found that I need to work on that on myself because I don't. I do. I find I give more to others than I do myself, and it's good to help people, but once you're doing it to the point where it's just leaving you in tatters, it's too much.
It is. We
Yeah.
were talking earlier about um, we often don't count ourselves amongst the people that we help or do things for, and that it's not an easy transition to put ourselves on an equal playing field or on an equal level with people that we help without thought. It's uncomfortable. So yeah, I fully understand that. But it is well after midnight, so we're going to do our closing announcements. So coming up on Thursday, I'm just going to do real quick. I'm not even going to read the blurbs. Coming up this Thursday, it is Summer Lovin'. And then next week, we have Good Intentions, My Ass. And When Hell Freezes Over. If you guys want to write for our shows, we have a group on allpoetry.com called Pretty Sweet
Uh,
Distraction. So just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTY Sweet, and it's free to join. And you can, read and follow all the rules because we have some of those there too. So, like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinion. Click all the hearts and show us some love. We are live every Tuesday and Thursday on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Or you can listen to our entire archive of all the shows we have ever done at prettysweet.podbean.com. You can also find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places. Just type in Pretty Sweet and follow the red shoes. And so that is what is coming up. Oh, Silk, you don't know. So our
yeah.
goodbye is this. Okay, so we've had a great time,
So,
and we hope that you did too. However, if you did not, you can
Fuck
fuck
all the
all the
way
way
off.
off.
oh yeah, I love it. There we go. Exactly. That's kind of my attitude lately too. So,
Absolutely. So good night, everyone. I'm so glad you made it.
thank you. I loved hearing your voices again. I'll try to hit more shows.
Awesome.